Oh, hi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have your company. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the first video of this YouTube channel, so I'm really excited. It's a movie channel. It's called Popcorn King. That's not my real name, surprisingly. But I just figured, and I assume much like a lot of you guys, I figured that I love movies so much more than any of my other friends. And I just I've got so much to say about movies, and I have no one to say it to. Today we're going to be doing my most anticipated movies of 2024. There's a lot of movies coming out in 2024. Obviously, last year, 2023, we had the writer's strike, the actor's strike. A few movies were rescheduled. There's a lot crammed into this year, and I'm super excited. But also, there's notably like a lack of some of the big blockbuster superhero films. Like Marvel's only doing one film this year, which is crazy because it's been a long time since Marvel has only done one movie a year. So we're getting a bit of a respite from the Marvel superhero universe, which is good. I'm happy for that. I love the Marvel universe. I love it all, but I'm all in favor of taking a breather. So I'm going to go through my top 10 anticipated movies of the year. I've got some honorable mentions. I'm going to be using my phone. I hope you don't mind. Please tell me if you do mind. So I've got a couple of honorable mentions before I get to my top 10. First of which is a film called Twisters, which I can only assume is some kind of sequel or prequel to the Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt movie Twister. Now, I'm not saying that that's my favourite film of all time, because it's definitely not, but I've just got such a soft spot for those natural disaster type movies. And it's the tornado film, and so Twisters, it could be a sequel, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Argyle. I'm a bit of a theatre head myself, so I'm actually super interested in Mean Girls, which I think might even be coming out this month. If not, it might already be out. Honourable mentions, I'm still on the honourable mentions. I'm looking forward to Kraven the Hunter, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I was a huge fan of the first two Planet of the Apes films, of like, you know, the new film series of Planet of the Apes. I like the old ones as well, but I didn't really like the Mark Wahlberg one that much. But the new film series of it, I really liked the first two. The third one, a little bit, it didn't captivate me as much. So that's why it's on my honourable mentions list and not on my top 10. But I'm looking forward to it. Inside Out 2, oh my gosh. Inside Out 1 was amazing, so I'm really looking forward to that. Venom, I'm interested in. Fall Guy, I'm interested in. Furiosa is on my honourable mentions list. Guys, I know that will be on a lot of people's top 10, but I'm not a huge prequel guy. I always feel a bit like, well, the stakes are a little lower because I know this character's going to survive because I see them later on. Like, I see them in the original movie. And if this is a prequel happening before, the stakes are a little low. So I'm just always a little less interested in prequels. I still enjoy them, and I fucking loved Mad Max Fury Road, and I loved the character that Charlize Theron played. So I am really excited, and I'm going to really enjoy that film, I'm so sure. But it's in my honourable mentions. So let's get to the top 10 list. Number 10, Gladiator 2, coming out November the 22nd. It's a Ridley Scott film. Ridley Scott is most of the time really good. And it's got an amazing cast. It's got Paul Mescal, it's got Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, who's just like off the charts, knocking it out of the park at the moment, Connie Nelson, and Matt Lucas from Little Britain. So that's good because I'm from Britain and he's from that comedy sketch show Little Britain. So that's awesome. At number 9, I'm going to go for a film called Civil War that's coming out on April the 26th, directed by Alex Garland, who I think made one of the most incredible films ever with Ex Machina. Annihilation, I enjoyed it, but it didn't hit as hard as Ex Machina. It's the famous Difficult Second album. But then he also did Men, which also didn't quite hit as hard as Ex Machina. I think Ex Machina, the expectations are so high. I'm sure it would take a lot for him to reach those heights again. But I have faith. It's Civil War. It could be an all-out action film, which is exciting. It's going to be starring Kirsten Dunst, who has really had such an amazing resurgence in her career. I think it really started at Melancholia by Lars von Trier. And then she was in Hidden Figures, Power of the Dog, and she was in one of my favorite seasons of Fargo, the TV series. So it's just going to be great. And also Jefferson White is in it, who I think he's amazing in the series Yellowstone. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in a movie. At number 8, we're going to have Deadpool 3, which is coming out July 26th. I know that might be controversial to some people because I reckon that's a lot of people's number 1 or number 2 most anticipated film. For me, I'm really excited to see it because I loved the other 2 Deadpool films. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, that's incredible. And it's the only Marvel film of the year. And is it even really a proper Marvel film? Can you even call it that? It's from the Fox X-Men universe, really. So that's why it's not quite at the top of my list. I feel like it could become my favourite film of the year by the end of the year. But in terms of actual excitement for it, I'm super excited. But it's a bit of like in limbo, right? What is it? What is it setting up the next phase of Marvel films? Is it ending the Fox films phases, or is it just sort of almost like a in its own universe thing? But I'm excited. I just don't know what's going to happen, and I'm really excited. Okay, number 7. Maybe you haven't heard of this film. It's called Flint Strong, coming out August 9th. It's directed by a lady called Rachel Morrison, and it's a boxing film. I love a boxing film. I love a good sports movie. But yeah, she hasn't directed much, but she was the cinematographer for Black Panther and Dope. And those films look fucking beautiful. Like, you could just pause those films and like print out that picture and then hang it up on your wall. They look so beautiful, those films. But what's really exciting me about this movie is that it's written by Barry Jenkins, who wrote Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk. Moonlight could possibly be one of the best films of the 21st century. It's so beautiful. It's so good. He's got such an amazing way of writing characters, and I just can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see his writing. I'm looking forward to seeing her direction for the first time. So that's number 7. Number 6, we've got Mickey 17 coming out March 29th. That's 1 week after my birthday. Take note. It's by Bong Joon-ho, who famously directed Parasite. Well, he's just an incredible director. Like he grabs you in the palm of his hand, and he knows when to make you laugh. He knows when to make you scared. He knows when to create drama. He knows when to create comedy. He's just an incredible director. He really just plays with his audience, and he's got Robert Pattinson starring in this film, Mark Ruffalo, the Rough Stuff, Toni Collette, and Steven Yeun. So what a great cast. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure everybody is. Let's go to my top 5. At number 5 is Dune Part 2, coming out March the 1st, which is 21 days before my birthday, or 20 days before my birthday. Directed by Denis Villeneuve. I saw Dune Part 1, and I enjoyed it. There was a lot of beautiful people walking around the desert. It kind of looked like a perfume advert at some points. But I have to say, like, the images stick with me. Like, I haven't really seen the original Dune. I think I've seen some clips of it here and there. I don't know the story very well. But it seems like a really great sci-fi film. And even though it ended, like a lot of films at the moment seem to end on cliffhangers without the story properly finishing, even though it ended like that, which is a bit frustrating to me, I have to say that it still leaves an impression on you. It's a really unique sci-fi film, a unique sci-fi adventure, and I'm really excited for the next one. And it's got Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler. Like, if you want to list the next fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's, like the next big, amazing film stars that are going to be winning all the awards in the future, it's literally them four. It's Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, and Austin Butler. And then, not to mention just them, the film's also starring Rebecca Ferguson. It's got Javier Bardem, Christopher Walken, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin. Like, this is an insane cast. It's just, it has to be in my top 5. Like, how exciting is that cast? Let's go to number 4. Nosferatu, coming out December 25th, Jesus' birthday. Directed by Robert Eggers, who did The Witch, Lighthouse, and Northmen. I saw Northmen at the cinema, and it made me feel really cold. I feel like he's got a great sense of just creating atmosphere. I'm not sure that I'm totally invested in the story sometimes in his direction, but some directors aren't necessarily about that. Some directors are about creating a world, creating tension, and it's like a feeling. When you watch his films, it's really something that you feel rather than, totally engrossed in the storyline as much as engrossed in the characters, engrossed in the themes and the imagery. And obviously there is a story as well. And, well, it's just really, he's a really great director. That's what I'm going to say. He's a great director, and he's doing Nosferatu, a nice festive Christmas film, starring Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who played Charlie Chaplin in Shanghai Nights, which is the sequel to Shanghai Noon, the Jackie Chan film, which I really loved when I was a kid. It's got Nicholas Hoult, who was in About a Boy, opposite Toni Collette and Hugh Grant, which I really enjoyed as a kid as well. It's got Willem Dafoe, who was, obviously, everyone knows him as the main villain from Speed 2, I believe, Cruise Control, and a lady called Emma Corrin. I'm not too familiar with her, but I'm really excited for this film. It's number 4. Number 3, I told you before, I'm a theatre head, okay? I'm so excited for Wicked Part 1, November 27th. John M. Chu, who did Crazy Rich Asians, which I always feel a little bit, am I allowed to say Crazy Rich Asians? I feel like that's almost insulting. It's like, oh, Crazy Rich Asian. Like, am I allowed to say the title of that film? Yeah, I guess I am. But great film, In the Heights, which is, that's my people. And it's about poor people as well. So that's funny. Like, it's got Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights, which is poor sort of Latin American people. Starring Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande. This is going to be amazing. Like, as long as they sing the songs really well and he follows the storyline basically, it's going to be an incredible film. Like, the story, it can't go wrong. It can't. The musical is so good. So it's number 3. Number 2, Joker, Folie à Deux. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Folie à Deux. October 4th by Todd Phillips. Obviously, the first Joker film was incredible. It was one of my favorites that year. What an interesting portrait of a complicated character. I really love these type of films. It's got Joaquin Phoenix from The Village, obviously. Lady Gaga's Zazie Beetz, Brendan Gleeson, Catherine Keener, who took Steve Carell's virginity in 40-Year-Old Virgin. And yeah, I'm really excited for this film. I heard that it might be a bit of a musical as well, so sign me up. Number 1. So number 1 is A Quiet Place, Day One. The first Quiet Place was my favourite film of the year. I think the second Quiet Place might have been my favourite film of the year. I just think it's such a cool premise. And when I've watched those two films, what I've always wondered was, how did they all survive the first day? Like, how did they realise about how they weren't meant to make any sound? Like, how did they realise this? How did they survive the first day? We're going to get all the answers in this film. It's not directed by Jonathan Krasinski this time. It's by Michael Sarnowski, who did Pig, which was a good film. It's got... I never know how to say this guy's name. I feel like I'm making fun of his name if I call him Digimon, but it's Djimon. Digimon Hansu. Lupita Nyong'o, Alex Wolff, who had an incredibly destroyed nose/face in Hereditary. Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, he was a breath of fresh air, which is a sentence I always struggle to say. That's my number one film. That might be a surprise for some people. I'm just really excited for that film. I really love that franchise. And I know I said before that I'm not into prequels, but this seems to be starring mostly characters we don't know yet. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know I just completely contradicted myself about the prequel thing, but this prequel is my most anticipated film of 2024, so sue me, all right? I'm a walking contradiction, okay? You've caught me red-handed. I'm a walking contradiction. Sue me, okay? Just sue me, lock me up, throw away the key. Thank you very much for watching the first video of my YouTube channel, Popcorn King. Subscribe.